Being a loner is often seen as a negative thing. I remember growing up, everyone seemed to strive to be the most popular kid in class, and for some of us, those feelings have carried on to our adulthood. I know what you're thinking. A loner sounds sad and boring. In our society, we are often taught that we need to be constantly surrounded by people in order to be happy and fulfilled. But this is simply not true. In fact, spending time alone can be incredibly beneficial for our mental and emotional health. For one, being alone can help you to be more productive. When you're not constantly surrounded by people, you can focus on your work or your hobbies without distractions. You can also be more creative. Some of the most creative people in the world are loners. This is because when you're alone, you have the freedom to think outside the box and come up with new ideas. You're not limited by the expectations of others. And if you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, being alone can be a great way to de-stress and relax. You can take some time for yourself to do something you enjoy, like reading, creating art, or going for a walk. So if you're feeling down about being alone, don't be. There are a lot of benefits to spending time by yourself. In this video, I'm going to share some of the reasons why I think being alone can be a good thing. Hi, and thank you for joining us at The Coffee Table, a channel passionate about providing our viewers with content that is inspiring, entertaining, and informative. Now let's sit, drink some brew, and explore ourselves and all things together. We begin with increased productivity. A study by the University of Melbourne found that people who worked alone were less likely to experience burnout. This was attributed to the fact that people who worked alone had more control over their work environment, including the ability to set their own goals and pace and take breaks when they needed them. When you're alone, there are no distractions to pull your attention away from your work. A noisy roommate watching TV, or whatever the reason may be, you can focus on the task at hand without being interrupted or overwhelmed. This can be especially helpful if you're trying to focus on a task that requires a lot of concentration, like writing a paper or studying for a test. Has your motivation to do anything diminished just because of how much stimulus was around? For me, that was often the case. Of course, being alone doesn't mean you have to be completely isolated. You can still listen to music or have a cup of coffee while you work. But the key is to create an environment where you can focus without being interrupted. If you're struggling to focus on your work, try taking some time to be alone. You may be surprised at how much more productive you are. Have you ever had an idea that you were too afraid to share with anyone else? Maybe you thought it was too weird, or you didn't want to be judged. Although they may be truly passionate about something, a lot of people are afraid to share their creative ideas because they're worried about what others will think. Oftentimes, I avoided learning how to play the piano or shape pottery because I didn't want someone to judge what I was doing or where I was in the process. I realized that for me to truly express my creativity, I was okay with making a lot of mistakes. I wasn't fond of criticism until I was ready to share my work or ideas. When you're alone, you can let your mind wander and explore new ideas without fear of judgment. You're not limited by the expectations of others, so you can be as creative and original as you want. For example, some of the greatest artists, writers, and scientists have found their inspiration in solitude. Vincent van Gogh spent many hours alone in the countryside, painting and sketching. Albert Einstein used to take long walks in the woods to think about his theories of relativity. And J.K. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book while she was a single mother, working on a tight budget and spending hours alone in her tiny apartment. People who balance a healthy amount of time in solitude have a deeper connection with themselves. When you're alone, you have the opportunity to get to know yourself better. You can reflect on your thoughts, feelings, and goals, and make changes to your life that will make you happier and more fulfilled. Have you ever felt like you were always trying to please others, or maybe you felt like you were just going through the motions with little to no direction? Loners have the opportunity to slow down and take a deep look within themselves. Some of the questions I ask myself when I'm alone are, what are my values? What are my strengths and weaknesses? What are my dreams and goals? What makes me happy? If you find that you're not spending enough time on your hobbies, you can make a commitment to set aside a moment each week for yourself. Spending time alone can help to improve your mood and reduce feelings of anxiety and depression. Contrary to popular belief, being alone doesn't have to be lonely. In fact, it can be a great way to relax and de-stress, which can have a positive impact on your mental health for several reasons. When you're around other people, you're constantly bombarded with stimuli, both external and internal. This can be a lot to take in, and it can lead to feelings of stress and anxiety. When you're alone, you have a chance to take a step back from all of that and relax. You can focus on your own thoughts and feelings, and you can let go of the stresses of everyday life. Second, when you're around other people, you may feel the need to bottle up your emotions or pretend that you're not feeling anything. This can be unhealthy. When you're alone, you have a chance to be honest with yourself about how you're feeling. You can cry, scream, or do whatever you need to do to process your emotions. This can be a very cathartic experience, and it can help to improve your mood and reduce feelings of anxiety and depression. Third, being alone can help you to connect with your inner self. If you find that you're always stressed out about work, you can use your alone time to come up with ways to manage your stress levels, exercising regularly or practicing relaxation techniques. You have a chance to focus on yourself and what you really want. In our fast-paced world, constant interactions and digital noise can leave little time for ourselves and loved ones. Surprisingly, spending time alone can enhance relationships. It prompts gratitude and a commitment to nurture our connections. It also deepens appreciation for relationships, preventing complacency. Balancing solitude and our social lives is vital. Over-isolation leads to loneliness, while too little me time can cause stress and anxiety. Striking a healthy balance is key. By indulging in enjoyable hobbies, reflecting on relationships, setting boundaries, and embracing our own company, we pave the way for genuine and enriching connections and a much healthier lifestyle as a wonderful loner. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again at the coffee table.